Hey, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Neca Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventure Series Slash figure, otherwise known as the best Slash version. Figure of the best version of Slash. There we go, that'll work. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so here is Slash in his box that is adorned with the always fantastic Ken Matroni artwork. And while we marvel at that, let's run down some quick facts about this version of Slash. This version of Slash is an anthropomorphic alien snapping turtle from the planet Palmadice. He first appeared in Archie Comics TMNT Adventures number 23 from August of 1991, entitled Search and Destroy. Now, he basically runs into Krang, who has just been exiled to this planet called Morbus that exists in Dimension X. It's kind of like a toxic waste dump slash prison planet. And Slash is on there, who's lamenting his previous home, which was Palmadice, and how he wants his palm tree and all that. And Krang decides to use him basically to get back to Earth and exact some revenge. So there you go. That's kind of a real quick rundown of this version of Slash. And speaking of all that, the background insert that is in the back of the box is actually taken from a scene from issue number 23 of Adventures. I believe it's taken from that scene from page 4 of this issue. And yeah, that's kind of neat. Now that we've talked about the package and the character, let's go ahead and get this figure free from its plastic prison and see what we think about Slash. All right, and here is Slash. Now, he is amazing. I am completely enamored with this figure. It's just looking at it, I mean, it's fantastic. Neca has again done just an amazing job like they are known to do. And this is a fantastic representation of the character from page to plastic, and he is so chunky. I love it. He's just beefy, and it's just, and he looks so mean, and oh man, I just love the way this figure looks just like fresh out the box. The sculpt just looks fantastic. He's got the little warts on him, and all the spikes on his shell are really well done, and the shoulder pads that he's got, the pieces of wood, they look so cool and just make the figure pop because they're such stark white. And yeah, again, great use of the dark, I guess you'd call it panel lines? I'm not really sure, but basically the stuff that outlines the musculature of this figure, of this character, and it just really brings this figure to life. And they did another fantastic job nailing this figure. Now, the one problem I did have with mine, and it has kind of been a thing with a lot of my NECA figures lately, except this one was probably the worst, was that I noticed that my Slash's right arm was not moving from the shoulder to the elbow. Like, it was not budging at all. So I had to get the hairdryer out and spend a good amount of time with it before I could get it to break free. And here we go. Here's a picture of the aftermath of what it actually looked like once it separated. The paint had sealed together. I guess that's the paint. It could have been the plastic. I don't really know. I'm not a plasticologist. But nevertheless, one of the two stuck to from his bicep, inside of his bicep, to I guess his ribs, his rib cage, I guess maybe. And yeah, that was a pain in the ass, and it was terrifying because, as most toy collectors know, especially of this line, some of these figures are very hard to come by, and I did not want to have to go looking for another Slash figure because I broke mine. And so, yeah, that was stressful. But thankfully, I was able to separate it, and now he's just fine. He works as intended, as he's supposed to. I don't know. So this Slash stands at about 6 inches tall, and he's got a decent amount of heft to him. I would have thought he would have been a little bit heavier considering how big his shell is, but he's a little lighter than you might think he would be, which isn't a deal breaker. He's still chunky enough to where it doesn't feel like you're getting less figure, I guess is the right way to say that. But I would have thought he would have had a little bit more weight to him, but it's you know, that's not a deal breaker at all. All right, so now let's take a look at the accessories that come with Slash. So Slash comes with 6 hands. His signature weapon of choice, I guess you could say, the bent sai sword thing. I've seen some people call it a Kris, like a K-R-I-S. But one way or the other, it made its first appearance, this version of it at least, in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures number 23, page 5 in silhouette, and page 9 in full color. Well, technically it's kind of, well, yeah, I guess it's still full color. It's only like 3 colors, but whatever. And then he also comes with what I'm going to call a Kama, K-A-M-A. I've seen some people also compare this to a Kyoketsu Shoge, I think. I might have butchered that, but nevertheless, it's the, if you're just listening to this, it's the weapon that's like the hooked blade sword. Like, it's like if you had a sword and then you threw a hook on the middle of it. That used to come with all the original Playmates Ninja Turtles. I wasn't able to find where they got the inspiration from this, unless it's an homage to the Playmates figure and their take on that weapon. But if you know where this is, where Slash has used this version of Slash, let me know in the comments, because I'm kind of interested. All right, so let's take a look at the articulation you're going to get from this Slash figure. Starting with the head, you got full 360 at the neck. He can look up pretty good distance and look down pretty good as well. Yeah, and then at the shoulders, which as you can see, mine took some wiggling, but it was stuck. Yeah, you can get full 360 rotation at the shoulders. It is hindered a little bit by the wood pieces right there, but you also get a bicep joint, or I guess I should say swivel. You got double jointed elbows right there, and then the wrist has swivel. And then it also has the hinge, but mine are super tight, and so they did not want to budge, and the blades kind of prevent them from doing too much movement backwards. Let's see. So then you can see that he has articulation for the chest and stuff, like to wiggle him around a little bit to give him some movement there. And but you really can't get him to like an ab crunch kind of movements, anything with the chest or anything, because of the shells, both the front and the back kind of hinder that. But you can get a little bit of side movement there just to wiggle him about. Then moving down to the legs, his legs are on ball joints, and let's see, and he can stretch pretty far. He can kick out a good distance. And he can kick back a little bit, but the shell kind of hinders it. He's got double jointed knees, and then he's got a ankle rocker that has a hinge as well. And there you go. And that's that. So that's the articulation that you're going to get out of this Archie Slash figure. All right, now let's see how he compares to some other figures you might have in your collection. Here he is next to the NECA cartoon version of Slash and the Super 7 Ultimates Playmates version of Slash. Here he is next to some Hasbro G.I. Joe classified figures. Here he is next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends figures. Here he is with the knockoff NECA colored bandana Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here he is with some Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning figures. Here he is with some Masters of the Universe Classics figures. Here he is with NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 animated series figures. Here he is with some SH Figuarts. Here he is with some Figmas. Here he is next to Super 7's Ultimates Metalhead figure and NECA's animated series Metalhead figure. Here he is with NECA's arcade version of Slash. And here he is with the rest of his buddies from the Archie Adventures comic line from NECA. Alright, so the Archie Adventure series is amazing, and for a myriad of reasons. Let's run them down real quick. Storyline is fantastic. The continuity of the story is great. The diversity of characters as well as real world problems, just excellent. And then superb character development. They nailed this on, like, it's just straight A's across the board. And especially compared to the 1987 animated series of the Turtles that blundered and fumbled so many characters, the Archie Adventure series not only took them and did them right, but did them the best that they've probably ever and will ever be done, and Slash is among one of those. And he's also now the best version of Slash you're gonna have on your toy shelf. Neca is continuing to kill it with their adventure line, and I am so happy about this. They just keep looking like they're ripping these characters off the page and into plastic form, and I don't need to know what kind of deals they're making with whatever supernatural being or devils or magic they're using to make these things happen, but what they are doing is making me a very happy Ninja Turtles fan, and I'm so thankful for that, because they've managed to make this figure that captures all the inherent coolness that Slash exudes and continue to further accentuate it with great paint apps, and just the sculpt is so good. And the more I'm messing with this figure, I'm seeing the warts pop off, like on the when it catches the light, and it just looks so good, and it's such a good figure. And the contrast of his earth tones and his skin, and then the accessories that he's got with the blades, and then the shoulder guards, his eyes and his belt, all that stuff, just the contrast there, just, you can't take your eyes off this figure. He's a ton of fun to pose and have fighting your other turtles from NECA that he looks fantastic with, as well as just being pure eye candy just sitting on the shelf. Like, I have a hard time just leaving him there because I want to play with him again, but then at the same time I just want to look at him. I've got a lot of emotions here, y'all, if you couldn't tell. And this is the Slash figure I always wanted, even before I even knew the Adventures version was a thing, because he takes all the coolness of the Playmates version, but like tones it down, all the crazy down, to where it's at least like, I don't know, not necessarily unhinged, but still just a little wild, and has a lot more of the color palette of the animated series one, with a lot more competence. Let's just put it that way. And I don't know, I just really love this version and this figure. It's fantastic. And I'm very tempted to get another one just to have as backup in case something happens to this one. That's how much I've enjoyed this figure and love it so much. My only complaints would be that I wished he would have come with like a different head, with maybe like a less aggressive expression. But as I'm even saying this, I'm thinking to myself, like, would I even use it? Like, I don't know. What the one that's there is fine and works great, but like, I guess it would just be nice to have that option. But still, I mean, it's not a deal breaker. And then there are times when I look at him and I think that his claws should be a little bit longer, and then there are other times where I look and I think that they're just fine. So take that for what you will. But if you're looking for a badass turtle figure to fight your other normal Ninja Turtles, and then team up with them, and then also the Mutanimals to fight all kinds of people, this is your guy. And if you're in the market for another character with hand claws to add to your shelf, then this version of Slash will go very well with all your Wolverines, your Barakas, and your Shredders. Or if you or someone you love is an avid Slash fan and trying to decide which one from all the different companies and versions of this character that are now figures that you could choose from, I'm gonna say, if you haven't picked up on it yet, that this version of Slash is a slash above the rest. Alright, well that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, please hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And please let me know if I was loud and wrong about anything, and if you disagree with me about this being the best version of Slash, I mean, you're allowed to be wrong, and that's fine. You know, that's cool. Not everyone can be right. And I am totally right in this situation right here. This is probably the only thing I'm right about in my entire life. And, you know, I'm okay with that. But we can still have a friendly conversation about how you're wrong about this, any other Slash being better than this Slash. But, yeah, and I'm joking, obviously. But still, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear me talk more about Slash and the Turtles, you can do that by following me over on Turtle Soup Podcast on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. My friend Ryan and I have been doing the show for a long time, and we do them about once a month, if not more than that. And if that's something you're into, definitely check that out. And until then, Elsetime.